Hello, this is Charles Teague. So here I am at Bradley Woods, which, if you remember from my initial presentation and my mind map, is a potential filming location for my F&P horror film project. And so essentially what I'm going to be doing here will be the same thing that I was doing at the other location, where I look around and do a series of camera tests and composition tests to get some kind of idea of A, the aesthetic of the film, and B, what sort of filming opportunities the actual location itself has to offer, which should hopefully influence what location I'll actually set and shoot the film at. With that all out of the way, hopefully watching these clips will give you some idea of the creative process that I go through as a filmmaker. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so right off the bat I just want to establish how much variety there is in Bradley Woods in terms of landscape and trees and the flora. It's sort of a huge contrast from the other woods that I looked at. In that over there it was all kind of in a straight row. It was all planted and kind of in a very kind of uniform formation. Whereas here it's the exact opposite. There's no consistency. It's very chaotic and there's a lot of variety. For such a small location, I mean, if you look just down there, I'm not that far from the road and from civilization. Such a small location, it actually has a lot to offer in the way of what a filmmaker could want from a woodland or a wooded location. And so there are a lot of opportunities here for filming. I mean, firstly, there's kind of a very kind of the whole thing is pretty much on a slope, and there's a very pronounced kind of dip over here. And you could maybe have a scene of someone maybe being chased down the slope, and then maybe something could push them, and then they could roll down and land in the ditch, or maybe someone can find a body in a ditch, or maybe there's a group of people who split up. One of them goes missing, and they go looking for him, and he's standing on the other side of the ditch. That sort of thing. There are a lot of opportunities in the way of that, and also. With it being on a hill, I'm interested in kind of what sort of camera angles I could get. So maybe if I were to shoot from the top of the mound and kind of point my camera down, it might have a different kind of the composition might have a different emotional connotation than if I were to shoot closer up or from their level. That's something worth considering. And also I'm going to maybe just do a few camera tests, kind of maybe a few mock-up compositions for the film. We'll see how they look, and maybe I might actually end up shooting here. We'll see. Right, so here's something very interesting. Coming up, kind of there's this rope swing hanging off the branch of a precariously placed tree, and it looks quite dangerous, but it does kind of give me an idea for a scene. I'm thinking, expanding on the idea of maybe someone rolling down a slope and kind of landing in a ditch. You could do a lot here, and I'm trying to think, maybe the rope swing could form some kind of a plot point. I'm not really sure what. It does kind of remind me a bit of a noose, those ropes that people use to commit suicide, or that they used to execute people, to hang people. I kind of thought, maybe the idea of maybe the location having a history of paranormal activity. Maybe people committed suicide or made to look like they committed suicide with a noose in a similar fashion to that rope swing. I could even use the rope swing as within the context of the film story as a makeshift noose, so I wouldn't have to make one myself, and wouldn't have to kind of worry about getting up to the tree and everything. So yeah, that's an interesting idea. Let's see how that works. Okay, so one other thing about shooting on slopes, looking down, is I went over the day for night technique in my previous location visit, which I got an idea for from a tutorial video from Rick Van Man on YouTube, and I'm thinking with the high amount of slopes here, I could potentially get over the solve the don't show the sky problem quite easily, just by having the camera face down from up a slope and look down at the characters, and so yeah, hopefully as I grade the shot that you're seeing now, it will probably look convincingly like nighttime. I mean, obviously the sun's out, and so it doesn't work quite as well, but it could easily be mistaken for moonlight, so we'll have to wait and see how that comes out. Okay, so here's something else that I found. If I go all the way up the slope, up along the dip, there's it flattens out and it leads to the industrial park on the outskirts of Ashbourne. But here, there's some guys have set up like a sort of a makeshift, I think, quad biking course. I mean, you can see a ramp over there, and there are more back where I came from, like one over there. Now this is an example of where it all flattens out, and they've clearly like lit a fire or something here, and there is a bit of broken glass, a bit of rubbish, but it kind of you know, if we are going to kind of make it sort of like one person visiting the place, it's going to be quite different. But if we have a group of teenagers like having a party or something, then you know, this would be quite authentic, and I can imagine them like, you know, lighting a fire and, you know, talking overnight, and then you know, kind of you know, there's like some sort of blurred like montage of things that they do, and then kind of, you know, cuts to morning and someone wakes up and there's all these embers and these shards of glass lying around, and the beauty of it is it would all be authentic. We wouldn't need to you know, bring any stuff like that over here, but you know, given, you know, kind of the logistics of having to, like, you know, bring up all the stuff and light a fire and also have to worry about filming equipment, I probably won't go in that direction, but it's just something which I noticed here, which might be of note. So yeah, one thing I just want to say here, reflecting on my visit, is kind of everything I've seen is sort of you know, it's sort of as I've gone along and as I've walked past stuff, and I kind of filming this footage, it's sort of kind of made me think, you know, there's a lot of value to be had in the POV shot, and I'm thinking about the found footage genre and about Blair Witch Project and that sort of thing, and there is sort of suspense in kind of following the character and the camera kind of and one thing I learned from The Evil Dead is that there is a lot of kind of suspense when the camera kind of struggles to catch up with the actors walking. So if, say, like, I've got an over-the-shoulder shot and you've got someone kind of walking along a path like this, up a slope, or, you know, down a slope, and there's something kind of foreboding in the background, kind of that will probably, you know, add quite a suspenseful kind of feel to it. And so I'm not really sure, but it might be worth having kind of a sequence of someone kind of maybe seeing a person in the distance, like a figure or something, and we follow them from behind, and kind of they slowly get further and further away from the camera, and you have to kind of think, you know, what is there, you know, and you're like, oh, you know, what's going to happen to them, you know, I don't know, that's something to consider at least, yeah. And also, just as I'm kind of on my way out of here, I'm just going to record a little bit more footage of some trees around me, and I can colour grade them to make them appear like it's night time rather than daytime, and obviously this effect will work better when it's not really sunny. Okay, so here I'm at the top of the hill, just kind of panning the camera around. As you can see, I can my line of visibility goes quite far, but there's no sky because of you know, the angle that I'm shooting this at, and so that makes this an ideal place to test the day for night technique. And obviously the white balance isn't really ideal on this phone, but with the camcorder I'll be using, I'll be able to manually adjust it to a lower setting, and so you know, hopefully with that combined with good enough colour grading, it will maybe make a somewhat convincing nighttime scene, and if it is sunny like it is now, I could at least maybe try and make it look like moonlight. Here's something, kind of as I reach the top of the mound, kind of, you know, the trees kind of open up and they're not quite as tightly packed, and this can you know, work to my advantage, because you can maybe have like you know, the whole scene could maybe focus on a person kind of standing here at the top, and it could be like and they could be looking down, it could be their view of the place, they could kind of be taking it all in. This could be kind of the start of the film, where it's kind of, it's overall more positive, and there's no kind of you know, the atmosphere is yet to build up and the threat is yet to become apparent. And also, because of the contrast here, this would be kind of good material, I think, maybe for an opening sequence, maybe, or maybe even for a dream sequence. If you look up and you can see the trees, I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking aloud here. But yeah, that's something which I could do maybe, and it is quite nice up here, so maybe like, I know that my original idea for the story was maybe a student goes on an excursion and maybe draws some pictures of you know, what she sees there, and you know, this would maybe be a good place for that student to do that, and maybe just be drawing some trees, or even just like the pine cones on the ground, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's all kinds of different you know, things that we can do with just this, you know, this one small location. And so maybe I'll come away kind of with something of a clearer idea of what I want to do in my film, and maybe even after I've watched a few more films and film clips, I'll have some ideas for scenes that I could shoot here or in the other locations. So yeah, we'll see how that all turns out.